see this game in highlight fashion. First quarter, Bronson Kafusi going to work, David.
Bronson Kafusi filled up the stat line again. 5 tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackle for losses, and a block kick.
This is really the only big-time mistake BYU made. Johnny Linehan thought he had a lane, didn't get the block. BYU gives up the ball. That results in a Fresno State field goal.
Thought he was a person.
Cody Croning 28 yards away, 3-0 Bulldogs. BYU trailing again in a game against a Division I opponent. But Francis Bernard, Brian, your Y-Factor pick started to pick it up.
Francis Bernard, again, somebody who's playing with a sense of urgency, can do it on the ground, and he can catch the ball.
That led to a BYU field goal, then more Bronson Kafusi. Thought it was a fumble. It was ruled that it was not. BYU would get the ball back, and then to the air they would go. Mitch Matthews, David.
We talked about this at halftime. Mitch had been targeted earlier in the game in the first quarter, but overthrown by Tanner. Finally, Tanner puts the ball up where his guy can go up and get it. 45 yards on that pass completion. Francis Bernard dives in for the 1-yard touchdown run. BYU up 10-3, then Kai Nakua. Give me that!
Give me that. Mine. Oh, and then, by the way, my goon squad, give me some blocks so I can get into the end zone and score for this offense.
Second pick 6 of the year from Nakua. We go inside the play. How did he do it?
Yeah, so what you're going to see right here is a smash route by the offense trying to suck the DB in, which they do. They do a good job, but it's a cover 2, and Kai Nakua breaks on the ball, has great vision on the quarterback. And then you see the defense, Fred Warner, defensive lineman out there making blocks, and then he gets into the end zone.
What do you do when you get an interception? You head to the near sideline.
Near sideline and score.
Guess what? You also rattle the opposing quarterback. Greenlee picked off again on the next drive by Fred Warner. He'll get some flack about getting chased down by Greenlee. But then Tanner Mangum to Moroni Laulu-Pututau. This guy's going to be a good one in the future.
I remember talking to Taysom Hill during the summer about Moroni. He said this was one guy you have to keep your eyes on.
2-point conversion to Taryn Houck from Mangum, made it 24-3. That was the halftime score. Bronson Kafusi literally moving his way up the NFL draft board.
Well, that series, he had a tackle for loss, and then he has his block kick. Stats after stats, highlights after highlights for Bronson Kafusi.
BYU with 5 block kicks on the season. Tanner Mangum, there was a sequence where there were 2 seconds left on the clock. He thought the half was over. He had to come back out of the locker room. He's fired up. They ran it up the middle to Algie Brown, and then they went to halftime. Now to the third quarter. Trey Dye almost blocks the punt, right? Well, the review actually shows that he did, and it overturns roughing the punter. Francis Bernard into the end zone again, Brian.
There we go. My Y-Factor that probably won't win.
Algie Brown, then from 45 yards away, gets in on the scoring fund. BYU up 38-3. How in the world did he get so open in the middle of the field?
Well, it starts really with the offensive line. When you look at Juergens coming here in motion, but then you see, look at the big hole right there. When you can get surge and you can knock the defense off of the line of scrimmage, anybody can run through that. And it's good to see this offensive line going back to what we saw at the beginning of the year.
Well, there's a lot of misdirection on that play with Mitch Matthews in the back and then Juergens coming across, so it mixed up the linebackers in that big game.
BYU up and in control, 38-3. BYU would then pour it on with more. MLP, Moroni Laulu-Pututau, 95 yards receiving for the freshman into the fourth quarter. If you thought this play would ever happen, you're lying. Remington Peck, trick play, throws a 15-yard on a dime strike to Taryn Houck. Sideline
pass.
going nuts.
Remington Peck's passing efficiency, 556 his rating.
Kai Nakua with the second interception of the game.
I blame this on Wadsworth, man. You over there looking, block somebody so he can score again.
Nakua now has 6 interceptions on the season. Nate Carter, the senior, getting into the end zone. A hard run to the left side, 52-3 BYU. And the Cougars would give up a late touchdown on the quarterback keeper from Anderson, but 52-10